We're here back at the 3v3. We're with Matt Bambrick. He ended up getting second place at, well, their team got second place. How went again?
Well, our team went X1. Personally, as well, I also went X1 in my games. And we got second place in the end.
And you played tier today?
Yep, yours relevant.
Kind of good cards. Okay, well, let's get in.
Right. So, ratios are similar to last time in most lists. We've got 3 Rhino Heart, best normal summon in the deck, 3 Shiren, the best extender in the deck, 3 Hobness, the best hand trap in the deck, and 3 Murley, the best combo extender in the deck. Rhino Heart is incredible, and the fact that you can special summon it before committing to your normal is incredible. Shiren is so good for enabling combos if you get hand trapped. Hobness is literally able to win games on its own if you lose the die roll, and Murley is really good for certain boards with Sprite Elf, as well as just being able to mill more cards. It's just a great card all around. All of these cards are incredible, and they all have the fusion effect except for Rhino Heart, but Rhino Heart gets their fusion effects online. Right. Then we've got a bunch of hand traps here, actually. We've got 3 Nibiru, 3 Ghost Mourner, 3 DD Crow, 3 Valor. And the reasoning behind this is quite simple. Mourner beats most Sprite decks. If they use Gigantic Sprite, for example, and you Ghost Mourner it, then they're probably going to try to link it off to take a bunch of damage, and you negated the effect. Same way with Valor here. Crow is really good in the mirror match, as well as the Sprite matchup, and a bunch of other ones.
Why no Imperm?
Oh, we do have Imperm.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It's in the traps.
That's very fair.
And then Nibiru is just really good at the moment for ending all those decks that are comboing off. Even Sprite right now, as well as Tier. It's just good all around. These hand traps all performed excellently. I would say the only one that performed a little bit less stellarly would be either DD Crow or Ghost Mourner, but even then they still were great when the time came. And then we've got 1 Snow as well in here.
Cards cracked.
Yeah, I don't know why it came off the list. It's incredible. Then we've got Triple Field Spell. This is excellent. Literally the best card in the entire deck. Search anything you want, as well as pop a card, get stab boost, which is very relevant, especially in the mirror match. Great card all around. Then we've got 2 Desires. It sucks to banish certain cards, but the draw power in this deck is just incredible. Being able to have any discard for Shiren is awesome, as well as any discards for something else later on. And then we got a bunch of one-offs. Terraforming Search the Field Spell, Instant Fusion to make kick Talos, which is basically 1 card starter, and Rhoda to search Rhino Heart. Right, that's it for spells here. I would say that they all performed equally as well. The Field Spell was incredible as well. And then for traps, we've got 3 Imperm, which is my other hand trap and came up so many times, it was incredible. It's good going first and second. Then you've got 3 copies of Paleozoic Diamiscus. This doesn't discard for cost, so you can use it to out problem cards by banishing, which means it can out certain Mystic Mines as well. So it's a main deck out to Mystic Mine in our Floodgates. But also it triggers tier effects because it doesn't discard for cost.
It's really good.
And in addition to that, if I activate a trap card, I can summon it back as a level 2 Aqua, which actually comes up for the extra deck plays because we play cards like Sprite Elf and Toad. And then 1 copy of Soliac. This card performed extraordinarily well. I didn't like taking out Meta Noise because Meta Noise is great, but honestly I barely noticed that at all because Soliac was just so good being able to permanently negate stuff. Send for cost, and also in certain cases where Hobness would go off, I'd be able to send this with Kaleido Heart if it got outed and summon back. I could send this to add, like, say, Rhino Heart to hand if I didn't have it away for the next turn. That's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we've got 1 Kaleido Heart, great card all around. It performed excellently today. It's incredible at Hobness in particular, and just a great board breaker and even combo piece at times all around. We've got 2 Kikalos. This is also incredible. 1 card starter, instant fusion, and basically lets you do everything because of this, because you can either mill or add, and the mill 5 is also just incredible. Then we've got 1 Dragostapelia. I had this at 2 before, but now we can play it at just 1 with some other extra deck cards. It's pretty good. You make it most of the time unless your opponent's on extra back row, like say Eldritch, which was my first matchup today. So this didn't see much play then, but every other game it saw extensive play. Then we've got 1 Garura, and one Mud Dragon. These are Super Poly targets, but also Garura and Mud Dragon come up in certain combos. Mud Dragon for Exceeds plays at rank 4s, and you also have Garura, which I use as a link material most of the time to get an extra draw when I'm going for Elf. And you can also Super Poly into these. Garura can be used for OTKs. Mud Dragon can also prevent your board from being targeted. They're just incredible all around. Then we've got one Zeus. I didn't make this today, but it was good regardless. We've got one Dweller, which came up in the mirror match. Sadly, I got hit with Gamma, so that didn't really matter. That's my one loss actually today. I only played one tier matchup. It was the Danger variant, and he just steamrolled me. They've got too much gas. That's probably the worst matchup, but every other matchup is pretty good. Then you've got one Redoer, still the best Tearlaments monster ever printed. One Gagaga Cowboy for time, never came up. I won time regardless. And then we got one Bahamut Shark and one Toad. Bahamut Shark you can make by using Rhino Heart and Mud Dragon, and Toad you can actually use Murley for as well. And these cards, I only made Toad once, but it did win me a game immediately and got us to second place, so it was pretty good. And that's it for Exceeds monsters. I would say that Redoer performed excellently and the rest were pretty alright, but it's good to have them. Then you've got 3 Link monsters actually, Sprite Elf, Dark, and Nightmare Unicorn. And I would say that, honestly, all of them performed pretty well. Dark and Unicorn are actually incredible in particular, especially with Elf, because if you have Murley, you can go into Elf, and that gives you zones to be untargetable with, as well as gives you potential mills on your opponent's turns, which could continue your plays. Dark is really good because you can use it to take a monster and then go into Unicorn to spin something, but also, since it's a link too, you can use it to make Elf if you didn't have access to Murley, which then gives you the non-targetability. And Unicorn, again, really good. I didn't make it too often, but when I did, it was pivotal. Yep, so that's it for the extra deck. I would say that I wouldn't change too much in here. It's actually quite good. I would change it a lot if I was playing Dangers, but I am not. Right, and for the side deck, we've got Driver and Gamma. I actually never saw these today, but regardless, I would still run them. The idea.
Second cards, great cards.
Yep, incredible for going second. Then you've got something that's a bit more out there, but still pretty good. Ghost Reaper. Since I'm on Sprite Elf as well as playing a meta deck in tier, this card is really good in the mirror match as well as in the Sprite matchup in particular. In the Sprite matchup, it's really killer if they didn't start with a Frog in hand, because it pretty much cuts them off with Toad access in most cases. It was killer, it won me entire matches, it's great. Then we've got triple Super Poly. This card was also very good, especially against Sprite. Not much else to say, it just clears boards, and you can also use it to trigger your own effects if you really have to. It's very versatile in what it can do, and luckily you're playing the extra deck for it. Then you've got triple Cyclone. This card is excellent. I didn't see Mystic Mine today, but this is mainly what it's for, but I saw a couple of Floodgates, Skill Drain and the like, and it was excellent for that. As well as Feather Duster, actually. Feather Duster was quite useful for just clearing mass back row. And then the final card in the side deck is Red Reboot. Now, I was told that I probably shouldn't be running this because there isn't a lot of trap decks in the meta, but we wouldn't have gotten second place without it. I've top decked into this thing way too many times today, and then OTK'd immediately to ever get rid of it. This card was just incredible. Probably the best card in the side deck, hands down.
Well, congratulations on your second place. Yeah, anything you would change in your deck, or?
Well, like I said, the Danger variant is very, very hard to beat. So either I want to have more outs to that, or I want to be on the Dangers myself to be able to play that mirror match. It's hard to beat, for sure. I definitely have bad luck in my matchup, so honestly, you could probably get away with this deck and just have better luck than me and win. But that being said, this deck was pretty good. I think the side deck could use a bit of work. For example, I didn't really use Super Poly all that often, but when I did, it was pretty good. I feel like Nightmare Unicorn could be something else, and I'm still playtesting these 3. I didn't see Cowboy come up, and it's only really useful for time, so you can easily cut that if you don't care about time. And Bahamut and Toad were very rare to make, so you could easily cut those for something else. I'd probably cut them for more Dragostapelius, for example, or some other fusions.
Well, congratulations once again, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.